Welcome back, students. So, as we are doing the chapter, the Sherpas from yesterday, so we reach here in the mid of the chapter. So, here it says that strong, congenial, and adept at business, the Sherpas play a role in the tourist trade that is rivaled by few indigenous people in the world. They serve not only as high altitude porters for mountaineers but also as guides for the larger number of trekkers who explore the region by hiking at altitudes under 18,000 feet without any technical equipment. The Sherpas own most of the lodges and hotels and many of the trekking companies. So, here, after the first ascent of the Mount Everest, mountaineering or trekking becomes an easy kind of sport, an interesting sport for all the people around the world. It is like a adventurous and daredevil kind of thing. So, seeing that there was a tourist boom in that particular place, people from all over the world, they comes in numbers for that expedition, and viewing that, the Sherpa, as they were very much adapted to that high altitude environment, they walked for the foreigners as porters, sometimes as guards. So later on, they started doing business like setting up lodges or hotels, and even lately trekking companies too. And they are very much equipped with the ability to breathe in that higher altitude. So, playing out their lives on the world's highest stage, winning friends with their warm smiles and calm competence, the mountain climbing Sherpas have become quite famous. As I told you, they are very humble, they are very loving person, all the Sherpas, and as it says, calm competence. That means competence, ability to do something successfully and efficiently. That means whatever task they are given, so they can do that very easily. And thus, the Sherpas, the tribe, the ethnic group, they become quite famous in the world. And some scientists believe that the Sherpas may be blessed with genetic features that help them thrive 2 miles or more above sea level. The lifelong adaptation to low oxygen conditions makes it easier for them to survive in the thin Himalayan air. They breathe faster and thus can take in more air per minute than lowlanders. Now, some of the scientists, they believe that the Sherpas are blessed with a unique quality. They can breathe easily, they can survive easily in the low oxygen condition, which is quite tough for any lowlanders. Lowlanders, that means from people who come from areas that are flat and low, that means the plain area people. On account of their reputation as climbers, the Sherpas are the best known of the 30 or so group that make up the Nepalese population. The word Sherpa is so familiar that it has become a generic term for a porter or a guide. Almost every Sherpa in the trekking business has a story about a client who turned to him and asked, "How long have you been a Sherpa?" So their title, the Sherpa people, they use that Sherpa term as their last name, and whoever visits Nepal for trekking or hiking or for that mountaineering sport, often they come across a Sherpa because they had to, because the Sherpa works there as trackers, as guides, as porters. So the foreigners need to go through at least a person, a Sherpa from that particular Khumbu valley or the Khumbu region. And Sherpa isn't just an ethnic identification. Like other minority groups in Nepal, the Sherpas often use their ethnic name as their last name as well, which I told you. So most of the 70,000 or so Sherpas in Nepal aren't involved in the climbing or trekking industry. It is mainly in the Khumbu region that tourism has transformed. The Sherpas live in a generation. Tourism had made the Sherpas of Khumbu rich. As I told you earlier, the economic condition of the Sherpa people was not good, was not up to the mark. But after the first expedition by the New Zealand mountaineer Edmund Hillary, and with Tenzing Norgay, who's a Sherpa himself. So after that, there was a tourist boom. The flow of foreigners was quite massive in number. So for that, the economic condition of the Sherpas get a little bit in shape. It become a bit good in their economic and as well as in social conditions. My friend Nima Nuru Sherpa is one of the thousand of Sherpa success stories. So here the narrator, he is trying to make us introduce to one of his friend. His name is Nima Nuru Sherpa, who himself was a porter. He also worked in a hotel as waiter. So he is having his own success story. So what it is, when he was born on a tiny Khumbu farm 8 years before the first ascent of Everest, his family grew potatoes like everybody else. You know, raising potatoes is hard work, such hard work, and you don't make much money. It's obvious there in their highlands, it is not possible to grow potatoes. And even though they somehow manage to grow a bit, so that doesn't make enough. They cannot make money by growing potatoes. But by the time he was a teenager in the late 1960s, getting into the mountaineering business was every Sherpa boy's dream. So in later 1960s, Nima Nuru Sherpa, he himself got involved into this mountaineering business. I was a porter. I carried 22 kilos all the way to Camp 2 on Everest. That's 22,000 feet without oxygen. I was a hotel waiter. I was a cook. I did everything. So this is the story of Nima Nuru Sherpa. He thrived a lot. He worked hard. He was a waiter. He was a porter. He was a cook. He did everything. And he too got that ability to walk, to survive in that low oxygen condition, or in 22,000 feet he can survive without oxygen. Tireless, bright and quick to pick up luggage, Nima became a trekking guide with knowledge of English, German and Japanese. Now the question is, without going to school or any kind of formal education, how is it possible for Nima Nuru Sherpa to pick up language such as English, German and Japanese? It's just because of the tourists who visit Khumbu region, that valley, may it be for an Englishman or German or a Japanese. So for them, like, keep on interacting with those people, make him pick up the language easily. He saved his earnings and rented a house about 200 years from the airstrip at Lukla, which in 1993 he turned into a successful hotel and restaurant. With a fairly reliable income from the lodge, Nima took the next step on the career path of the upwardly mobile Sherpa. Last autumn, he set up a trekking company of his own in Kathmandu, 125 miles from Khumbu. Now, Nima Nuru Sherpa, he is totally a successful businessman therein, and he set up himself there in Kathmandu, which is 125 miles away from Khumbu Valley. Now, he is to say Nima Nuru Sherpa is an upwardly mobile Sherpa. Now, what is upwardly mobile Sherpa? It means his social and economic condition was up to a mark. That means in society he is a renowned person. So from the each and every Sherpa family society, he is the one who is totally successful, and he set up himself there. He is established there in Kathmandu, and he started his own trekking company lately there in Kathmandu. 3 decisive innovations made the Sherpa what they are today, says Angrita. The British traveler brought potato plants to the Himalayas in the 19th century. That is the first one. So, according to Angrita, 3 innovations that completely changed the condition of the Sherpas. Now, Angrita is a famous mountain climber who climbed Mount Everest for 10 times. Quite interesting. So, according to Angrita, the 3 things which change the condition of the Sherpas totally. So, first is the British travelers who brought potato in the Himalayan region in the 19th century, and there the Sherpa took potato as their staple crop, as their main crop, which matches with the Khumbu climate. In the 20th century, the introduction of iodine wiped out goiter and made an important improvement in public health. So earlier, because of the lack of iodine, the problem of goiter was quite widespread there in Khumbu region. So the introduction of iodine in the 20th century wiped out this problem of goiter. And the mountaineers who wanted to climb the high peak gave us foundation of a tourist economy that has produced more wealth than agriculture or trading ever did. So because of this mountaineering, there was, as I told you earlier, there was a economic boom, there was a economic development, a massive development, massive growth was there, and because of which the economic condition of the Sherpas totally changed, and it changed in such a way that the Sherpas need not have to grow potatoes for their livelihood or for earning. Because of this setting up trekking agencies, as well as working as a porter, as a tracker, as a guide, they earns a lot with that. The Sherpa began migrating to Darjeeling, India, more than 100 miles east of Khumbu in the 19th century, when the British mountaineering expedition headed to Mount Everest in the early 20th century. Traveling from northeast India through Tibet, because Nepal was closed to foreigners until 1949, they hired strong young Sherpas in Darjeeling to be porters. So this is how the Sherpas, they came to Darjeeling. So it's important data. It's given here that Nepal was closed to foreigners until 1949. Because of that, they had the mountaineers, they had to go approach through India from the northeast part. There is from like this one, West Bengal, the Darjeeling. A Sherpa contingent become essential for every climbing expedition. So whoever the mountaineers, suppose a group of mountaineers, they are trying for the ascent of the Himalaya, so they will have to have Sherpas with them, and not one or two, but must have to be in numbers, so that they will help them as porters, as trackers, and as guides. So when the British expedition of 1953 became the first to reach the roof of the wall, the final assault team comprised one New Zealand climber, that is what I told you, Edmund Hillary, and the one is Tenzing Norgay, who was a Sherpa. The conquest of the majestic Mount Everest caught the imagination of the world, bringing an unprecedented number of climbers to Khumbu each spring and fall. It also brought the Sherpas a generous and untiring benefactor in the person of Hillary. So, in this way, the first ascent by Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay, when it was quite successful at that time, the foreigners, they believe about the possibility of reaching Mount Everest with the help of the Sherpas. And from that particular time, from that particular point of time, what happens, travelers or visitors, foreigners, they keep on coming up to Khumbu Valley, to Nepal, in massive numbers, and because of that, their economic condition changed in a drastic way. It changed in a massive way, and everything that it happened for their own good, for the